Hey everyone, ready to go fast?
Always.
Awesome. Because today we're taking a deep dive into Sonic Frontiers
Oh, yeah, this one.
based on all those articles and notes you sent over.
Right.
Looks like you're really interested in this whole open zone format, like how it's shaking things up for Sonic.
It's a big one.
So let's get into it.
Sounds good.
So,
It is a huge leap for this series.
yeah, you're right to be curious.
Yeah, Izuka, the head developer,
Right.
has really been talking about giving players freedom.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Huh. That's kind of wild when you think about how linear
Right.
most Sonic games have been.
They really have.
Yeah, like no more being railroaded through levels.
Yeah. Choose your own adventure.
Yeah, you choose your path and discover challenges
back.
at your own pace.
Yep.
You mentioned wanting to experience that sense of speed
Yes.
in a whole new way.
Right.
And from what I'm seeing, Frontiers really seems to deliver that.
It does.
We're talking about a massive world here
Huge.
called the Starfell Islands.
Yes.
Which is actually 5 distinct islands.
That's right.
Each with completely different environments.
Totally different.
Wow. So each island is packed with
Oh, wait.
challenges and secrets.
All waiting for you.
All at your own pace.
It's kind of like they took that classic Sonic formula and mashed it up with Breath of the Wild.
Oh, wow. That's a good.
It's a good comparison.
Yeah.
Imagine sprinting through ancient ruins.
Okay.
Reclaimed by nature.
Yeah.
Vines twisting around crumbling columns.
I'm picturing it.
Waterfalls cascading in the distance.
Ooh, now you're just making me want to play it.
I know, right?
Yeah, but before I get lost in daydreams of chili dogs and loop-de-loops, I gotta ask, does this mean classic Sonic is gone?
Well, yeah.
That super fast action, you know, those
Yeah.
iconic levels that make you feel like you're...
Breaking the sound barrier.
Yeah.
Don't worry. They're not going anywhere.
Oh.
Sonic Team found a really clever way to
Okay, how'd they do it?
blend the old with the new.
Okay, I like that.
You see,
Yeah.
as you're exploring the Starfall Islands, you'll find portals
Portals, okay.
to what they're calling cyberspace levels.
Cyberspace?
Yeah, these are designed to be
Yeah.
those classic adrenaline-pumping
Okay.
Sonic experiences
Yes.
we know and love.
Oh, that's cool. So it's
Yeah.
like getting the best of both worlds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Freedom of an open world
Right.
combined with the thrill of those classic
Yeah.
levels.
Love it. You also mentioned in your notes that you were
Yeah.
curious about the combat system.
The combat, yeah.
Yeah, from what I've gathered.
It's different.
Yeah, it's not just about spin attacks anymore.
No.
I mean, I've always loved
Yeah,
how fluid and fast-paced
right.
Sonic's combat is.
It is.
But adding those extra layers
Right.
of strategy, that sounds like it could really change how you approach
Oh, it does.
encounters.
For sure.
And
it gets even more interesting
Yeah.
when you factor in the new Psyloop ability.
Okay, yes.
Right.
The Psyloop.
The Psyloop.
This is one of the things I was most excited to dive into.
Yeah, it's cool.
From what I've read, it lets Sonic draw circles
Yeah.
around enemies or objects,
Wow.
which triggers all sorts of effects.
All sorts.
Yeah.
And those effects,
Uh-oh.
they vary
Right.
depending on what you're circling. For
Okay.
example,
Yeah.
there's a puzzle
Okay.
where you have to use the Psyloop
Uh-huh.
to draw a circle around a specific group of enemies
Right.
to make them vulnerable.
Oh, that's cool.
It's not just about brute force.
Right.
It's about using Sonic speed and agility
Yeah.
to outsmart your opponents.
Oh, that's definitely a new layer of depth. We
Yeah.
haven't seen that before.
Not really.
I'm seeing some footage here
Oh, yeah.
of Sonic using the Psyloop to create wind currents that lift him to higher platforms.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like the possibilities,
Endless.
yeah, they're pretty diverse.
They are.
And speaking of diversity,
Yeah.
you also mentioned being intrigued by the skill tree.
The skill tree? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Sonic is stepping into the world of RPGs with this one.
Totally.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
It sounds like you can really tailor Sonic's abilities
Yeah.
to match your playstyle.
Exactly.
Do you want to max out his speed
Oh, yeah.
and become an untouchable blur?
You could it?
Or maybe focus on his combat skills and become a powerhouse?
Become a tank.
The choice is yours.
It really is.
It's a fantastic way to add a level of personalization
Totally.
to the gameplay.
Especially for a series that's
Yeah.
often been about following a set path.
Right.
It's like they're finally acknowledging
Yeah.
that every Sonic fan has their own unique way of playing.
I like that. And it's not just the gameplay.
Right.
It's breaking free from convention.
Yeah, yeah.
You mentioned in your notes
Yeah.
that you were struck by the shift in the game's aesthetic.
Yes.
What's your take on that?
It's definitely a departure
Yeah.
from what we're used to seeing.
Right.
Like the bright,
Yeah.
cartoony style has been toned down
Interesting.
in favor of something that feels more realistic
Uh-huh.
and atmospheric.
So the screenshots I'm seeing, they almost give off a sense of
Melancholy almost.
melancholy. Wow.
Weird.
That's not something you typically associate with a Sonic game.
Not at all.
Yeah. It's like they're trying to capture a sense of mystery and wonder that goes beyond the usual lightheartedness.
Exactly.
I'm seeing some comparisons here
Oh, really?
to Shadow of the Colossus.
Interesting.
With the game's emphasis on exploring these vast ancient ruins.
It's a good comparison.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's a fascinating contrast.
It really is like that vibrant, almost frenetic energy we associate with Sonic.
Yeah.
Set against these backdrops that feel ancient.
Yeah, and almost lonely.
Yeah, lonely.
Yeah.
And that's mirrored in the soundtrack as well.
Oh, the soundtrack.
Right. You mentioned how much you loved the music from previous Sonic games.
Yeah.
So I was curious what you thought about this one.
Well, this one's different.
Yeah.
It's definitely a different approach.
Okay.
Instead of those like upbeat, high energy tracks,
Right.
Frontiers has a more ambient, almost melancholic score.
Huh.
Yeah. It actually reminds me a bit of the music from Shadow of the Colossus.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which kind of adds to that whole sense of exploring a world lost to time.
I'm listening to some of the tracks now.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. And it does create a whole different mood.
Yeah.
But it still feels strangely fitting for Sonic somehow.
It does.
It's capturing a different side of his personality, one we haven't really seen before.
Yeah, one of the things that's so intriguing about this game is that it's not just giving us a new world to explore.
Yeah.
It's giving us a new perspective on Sonic himself.
I like that. Okay, but let's be real.
Okay.
A big part of what makes Sonic, well, Sonic,
of course,
are those epic boss battles.
The boss battles.
And from what I'm seeing, Frontiers doesn't disappoint.
No.
You mentioned in your notes that you were particularly interested in the Titans.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about those?
The Titans are colossal creatures.
Okay.
Unlike anything we've seen in previous Sonic games.
Like, how big are we talking?
We're talking massive, screen-filling behemoths.
Wow.
Each with their own unique design and attack patterns.
So one article you shared compared them to
the Guardians.
Oh, wow.
From Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
In terms of their scale and the challenge they present.
I'm looking at some concept art right now.
Oh, yeah.
And wow.
They're intense.
They are seriously intimidating.
Yeah.
We've got giant fire-breathing wyverns, knights clad in ancient armor.
Oh, yeah.
There's even one that looks like a biomechanical spider.
Oh, yeah.
Straight out of a nightmare.
They're scary, and they're not just mindless brawls.
Okay.
From what I've read.
Yeah.
You'll need to use everything you've learned.
Like what?
Your parrying skills.
Okay.
The psi loop to find their weak points.
Right.
And take them down.
So it's not just about going fast.
Nope.
It's about being
strategic.
Yeah, smart and strategic.
That's right.
That sounds like a really refreshing take on boss battles.
It is.
Especially for a Sonic game.
Yeah. And the best part is...
What's that?
Each Titan seems to be intrinsically tied to the mysteries of the Starfell Islands.
Okay.
Defeating them doesn't just feel like checking off a box.
Right.
It feels like uncovering a piece of the story.
That's cool. Okay, so I'm completely sold.
Good.
I need to experience these Titan battles for myself.
Yeah.
But, you know, for all this talk about how different Frontier is, I'm also curious about what they've kept from the classic formula. Like, is it still Sonic?
Oh, at its heart.
Yeah.
This is still a Sonic game.
Okay.
It's all about speed, momentum, and that sense of freedom
you
get when you're just flying through levels.
I know that feeling.
The core platforming mechanics are still there.
Okay, good.
Just enhanced and expanded upon.
I like that. So it's like they took everything we love about Sonic and gave it a turbo boost.
Exactly.
I like that. And, you know, it's exciting to see a franchise like Sonic, which has been around for so long.
I know.
Take such a bold step forward.
They could have just played it safe.
Right.
And stuck with what they knew worked.
Yeah.
But they took a risk.
Yeah.
And that's something I really respect.
It reminds me of when Sonic first transitioned to 3D.
Oh, yeah.
There were a lot of doubters back then.
There were.
But ultimately, it led to some of the most beloved games.
Some of the best.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe in a few years, we'll be looking back at Frontiers as the game that
redefined what a Sonic experience can be.
Wow. So what's the overall feeling from critics?
From the critics.
Yeah. Have they embraced this bold new direction?
The reception has been mixed.
Mixed.
To say the least.
Okay.
Some critics are loving
the
open world exploration.
Okay.
And the way it blends with the classic Sonic gameplay. Others are finding it a bit rough around the edges.
Okay.
Feeling like the open world might detract from
what?
the series' signature speed.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I can see how that could be a concern for some fans.
For sure.
It's such a departure from what we're used to.
It is. But I also think it's important to remember.
What's that?
That Sonic has always been about evolution.
Yeah.
About trying new things.
That's a good point.
It is.
And whether Frontiers ultimately lives up to its potential or not.
Right.
It's undeniable that it's a pivotal moment for the series.
It is.
The decisions made here,
Yeah.
they'll likely have a ripple effect.
On future Sonic games.
On future games.
So it's definitely worth paying attention to.
Speaking of the future,
Yeah.
you mentioned that you were curious about what this new
yeah.
open world format could mean for Sonic storytelling?
The storytelling, yeah.
Any theories on that?
Well, think about it.
Okay.
We've seen Sonic tackle all sorts of challenges in linear levels.
Right.
But imagine the kinds of stories they could tell.
Right.
With this kind of freedom.
Yeah. I mean, we're already seeing hints of it.
Yeah.
With the mystery surrounding the Ancients and the Starfell Islands.
Exactly.
But what if they took us to...
Where?
A Sonic City.
Oh, yeah.
Full of bustling crowds and...
A Sonic City?
Yeah, and towering skyscrapers.
That would be cool.
Or maybe a world inspired by classic Sega games.
I like that.
Where Sonic could team up with characters from other franchises.
Oh, man.
Wow, hold on.
Now you're talking.
Now you're just teasing me.
I know.
A Sonic open world?
Yeah.
Where you could run into, like Axel from Streets of Rage?
Oh, that'd be amazing.
That would be incredible.
It would?
Right? It's like they've opened a door.
They have.
To a whole new dimension of possibilities.
Endless possibilities.
Yeah, and it's going to be fascinating to see where they go.
Who knows?
Yeah, where they go from here. I'm already getting hyped just thinking about it.
I know.
But before we get too carried away with the future, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier.
What's that?
You were talking about how Frontiers seems to be exploring a different side of Sonic's personality. A more
introspective.
Yeah, introspective, almost melancholy side.
I think that's one of the most fascinating aspects of this game.
Yeah.
It's not just about new levels or new abilities.
Right.
It's about exploring a new dimension of Sonic's character.
I'm thinking back to that more atmospheric soundtrack you mentioned. Do you think that's playing a role in shaping this new perspective?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The music is setting a tone
that's
very different from what we're used to in Sonic games.
Right.
It's more contemplative, more introspective, and it creates a space for Sonic to...
To what?
What to think.
To think. Huh. That's such a cool concept.
It is.
It's like Sonic is finally getting a chance to reflect on his adventures, on the weight of the world he carries on his shoulders.
All those years of Dr. Eggman.
Right.
And I think that resonates with a lot of longtime fans.
Yeah.
We've seen Sonic grow and change over the years, but we've never really seen him delve into his own emotions, his own vulnerabilities.
Vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe exploring that side of him will lead to even more compelling stories in the future.
It's a risk,
but
it's a risk that could pay off in some really unexpected and rewarding ways.
I love that idea.
Me too.
That this game isn't just about pushing the boundaries of gameplay, but also about pushing the boundaries of what a Sonic story can be.
I like that.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, hey, Sonic has saved the world countless times.
Right.
But what about his world? What's going on inside that head?
I know, right? And looking at your notes here,
yeah,
it seems like the developers are really leaning into that.
Okay, how so?
Visually, you mentioned that you were drawn to the contrast between the natural beauty of the Starfell Islands and those ancient, almost haunting ruins.
Yes, exactly.
Scattered throughout the world.
It creates such a unique atmosphere. Something we haven't really seen in a Sonic game before.
Yeah, we've had lush forests and futuristic cities.
Right.
But This.
Yeah, this is different.
This is different.
There's a sense of
history.
Of loss.
Yeah, that permeates these landscapes.
It really does. And that ties into the mystery of the ancients.
The ancients, right.
Who were they? What happened to them?
Yeah, it's like Sonic is...
He's running through
the remnants of a forgotten civilization.
Yeah.
A long-lost civilization.
Piecing together clues to a story that's been buried for centuries.
It's like Indiana Jones Sonic.
Yeah. It makes you wonder what Sonic is thinking as he speeds through these ruins.
It's going through his head.
Yeah. Is he feeling the weight of that history?
Maybe.
Sensing the echoes of the past?
It's a pretty profound idea.
It is.
For a Sonic game.
Yeah. And I think it speaks to the potential of this open world to tell...
Deeper, more layered stories.
It's like they're giving Sonic room to breathe, to actually experience the world.
To take it all in.
Yeah, rather than just racing from point A to point B.
Exactly, and that sense of exploration, of discovery, that's always been at the heart of the Sonic experience. It's just being expressed in a whole new way here.
I like that.
Yeah.
So what does this all mean for you
as
you get ready to jump into
Sonic Frontiers?
Yeah. What's the key takeaway?
I think the most important thing is to go into it with an open mind.
Yeah.
This isn't just another Sonic game.
Right.
It's something different.
Different how?
It's trying to push the boundaries.
Of what
the series can be.
And that's exciting.
It is.
To see a franchise we love take risks.
Absolutely.
Experiment with new ideas. And maybe even stumble a little.
It's okay to stumble.
Along the way.
Yeah. Embrace the freedom.
Of the open world.
Yes. Explore every nook and cranny.
Of those Starfell Islands.
Yes. And most importantly, have fun.
Because at the end of the day, that's what Sonic is all about, right?
That's play.
That pure joy of movement, of speed, of adventure.
Could not have said it better myself.
And I have a feeling Sonic Frontiers is going to deliver that in spades.
I think so too.
Even if it's in a way we haven't quite seen before.
It'll be a new experience.
So one final thought to leave you with.
Okay, hit me.
Sonic has conquered 2D. He's mastered 3D.
He has.
And now he's breaking free into
vast open world.
The vast open world. What's next?
What is next?
What other frontiers remain for the blue blur to conquer?
Only time will tell.
The possibilities are endless.
They are.
And that's what makes this such an exciting time.
It really is.
To be a Sonic fan.
Couldn't agree more.
So buckle up.
Get ready.
Get ready to go fast.
Here we go.
And I'll see you on the next deep dive.
See you then.